and now we're at this random trailer home, mobile home thing in the middle of nowhere. Hi guys, how is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are doing better than my makeup today. I don't know what it was, but I have not been wearing makeup for a while, and I guess I have lost my touch because, man, I'm gonna keep y'all over here because no, y'all do not want to see this close up. I am looking a mess, but I feel like the camera isn't picking up on how bad it looks, so we're just gonna stay this far, okay? Like I said. Anywho, I hope you guys are doing wonderful today. And I just want to say that I miss y'all. Like, I have not been able to just sit down and record some videos because I have been taking care of my nephew and I just needed that little reset. I'm telling you, just nieces and nephews are just the best ever. Like, they're not your children, so you're not like responsible, but it's like they kind of are your children because you just love them so much. So I am just so happy these days because I got to spend so much time with my nephew, and I'm just like, I needed that reset. So now that, I'm back, I did want to come at y'all with a story time, a Tori story time. Y'all know these toxic friends just really, they give you good stories. Like, you guys have fun times, they give you good stories. So this is where we're at today. So before I get into it, of course, I'm going to do my membership shout out. And this membership shout out goes to Jasmine Marie. I just want to say thank you so much, Jasmine, for being a member and just supporting me and commenting and just interacting with me the way that you do. As always, y'all don't understand how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. So shout out to you, Jasmine. Thank you so much to all my members. And I will be putting up the pictures that go with this story because I have pictures from like back in this time of what I was wearing, what I was doing, how I looked, y'all. There was a story that I put on the membership that I showed y'all like what I was wearing, and I think I'm gonna keep doing that because it's just more fun, so be sure to check that out if you do want to check out the membership, all that fun stuff. Cool. Yeah, anyway, let's get into this video. So we are taking it back, all the way back to high school, all right? And a lot of you guys really like my high school story times. I didn't think that people were gonna enjoy them just because they're so old and so childish, but a lot of you guys seem to love these like high school story times, so I'm gonna keep doing more of them. So this goes back all the way. This was my junior year summer going into senior year, right? So as y'all know, Tori was my toxic ex-best friend, and she used to get me in all kinds of things. But one thing that I will say about her is that she exposed me to a lot, and that started with parties, group of people, really getting me into the scene of, like the little party high school, you know how it goes, like the popular group, like that kind of thing. She got me exposed to a lot of that because I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like I was cool with popular people in the sense like individually. Like I would have a lot of classes with a lot of popular people. So I would know people on like an individual thing, but as far as like a group, I was not a part of like the popular crowd. I was not a popular person, but like people knew who I was. It was kind of weird, high school. So I was, getting exposed and stuff. So she got a lot of invites and she got a lot of information on parties and whatnot. So this time I was going to go to this party that was pretty known. Like this one guy, he would throw this party every single year on the 4th of July. So of course, she was telling me like, hey, we got to go to this party, da 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 da. Now, if you watched any videos of me talking about Tori before, we would have a plan. We would have the initial plan. Some way, somehow, this plan always got turned into these elaborate schemes and ideas, and we would never, ever do what we initially said we were going to do. So the initial plan was, I was going to go to her house. We were going to get ready at her house. We were going to go to this party. We were going to have fun at this party, go back to her house, go to sleep, and I was gonna leave the next day. That was the plan. That's what we had, right? So simple, so cute, you know, have a good time, yeah, whatever, and go about our life. Ask me if we did that. Of course we didn't, because it wouldn't be a story time if we did, okay? So now, the first part of the plan, that was true. So I go over to her house and we start getting ready to go out to this party. So we're, you know, getting ready, doing our hair, doing our makeup. And this was when I had just, like the day before, I had just dyed my hair blonde. So ugly. So anyway, we were getting cute. We were getting ourselves together. It was going to be a good time. We're listening to music. We're doing our makeup. She's like showing me stuff with my makeup. She's telling me I should do this. I'm telling her this, and this. And it was a really good time. I should have known that this night was going to be something ridiculous when we went downstairs and like, I'm not going to talk, you know, crazy about her mom or whatever, but it was just like, I always had a soft spot for Tori because you could tell that, like, when you met her mom and you went around her, like, living situation, you really understood why she acted the way that she did. Like, a lot of things came full circle when I started hanging out more at her house and seeing like the environment that she was around. Not that it was like a crazy environment or anything, but you could definitely tell it was one of those situations like, oh, you act like this because your mom is like this, like one of those things. And so when we went downstairs, her mom was super young, super like trendy, hip, all this other stuff. And when we went downstairs, we were pretty much wearing the same thing. And her mom made a comment about like, oh, if you were my child, I would want you with more clothes on. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. And I say this because in other story times, it's going to come up about like her mom and stuff. But it was just like so annoying because I'm like, girl, we are literally wearing the same thing, except hers was like more, it was like when rompers were popping off. And so she was wearing like a long romper and I was wearing like the shorts kind, you know, y'all remember like this was what, 2016, 2015? No, this was 2015. Like y'all know rompers were popping, wet seal, like all that, you know, before Fashion Nova, it was wet seal. And that's what we were wearing. And it was like, we're both wearing strapless ones and her mom like just felt the need to like shame me for no reason. So I was already like put off because of that. Now, because of the way her mom was, Tori was always lying. And I ain't even going to blame her because so was I. So she had to lie to her mom or whatever. And so the plan was that she was going to drive us to this party. Something happened between us going downstairs and our initial plans that was not happening. So when we go downstairs, she tells her mom's like, oh, who's coming to pick you up? And in my head, I'm just like, didn't you say we were driving? Like you were going to drive us? And so on the spot, she was like, oh, my friend's coming to pick us up. Like we're just waiting on them to pull up. And so in my head, I'm just like, girl, shouldn't you have told me that while we were upstairs? Like, shouldn't you have given me a little bit of like a heads up that we have to find a ride? Because I really thought she had a car. So I was like, I thought we were taking your car. I thought you were driving us. Like, so fast forward this part, I ended up having to call my sister. And my sister couldn't take me. I'm so sorry, Sabrina. I used to have her wrapped up in all my mess for no reason because she did not want to be involved. Like she was always like, I don't care. Don't get me involved in your stuff. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to be a part of this. And I always had to wrap her in this because I was trying to live my life, but I didn't have the means to live my life. So I had to call my sister to, you know, help me live my life, you know? So I had to call her and she couldn't do it. So at the time, she started dating who is her now boyfriend. She started dating him. And so I was just like, okay, well, can you get him to come take us? Like, I did not care. Like, I was the worst little sister ever. I was like, I don't really care what your plans were. Can you tell your homie to come pick us up and take us to this party? And she would do exactly that. So her boyfriend, the guy that she just started talking to, I would never if I was a guy, but the guy she started talking to ended up coming to pick us up and taking us to this party. Now, this party was in the middle of nowhere. Like it was a drive outside of the city in the middle of nowhere in like some yard somewhere, okay? And this is a key component to the story. So it's not like we had the means to just like, we already had difficulties getting the ride there, and it just so happened that I was able to get my sister's boyfriend to come do it for us. But it was like, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we got to figure it out. But Tori was just like, oh, when we get to the party, we'll figure it out, da da da. So in the back of my mind, I'm not really like ready to have a good time, because I'm like, dang, I got to figure out how we're going to come back. Okay? So we get to this party, and this was my first like real party, like drinking, you know, like the whole shebang. This was my first time ever going to one. So I'm like super excited. I'm ready to turn up. I'm ready to get lit. Like, I'm ready to have fun. And so when we get there, that's exactly what we were doing. We were starting, you know, to mingle, see different people. The music was going. It was still like a little fresh, but we were already, you know, having fun. And now at this time, I had just dyed my hair blonde. All the boys that didn't even see me before, who didn't even know me, they're like, oh, who is this girl? They keep asking Tori, like, who's your friend? Who's your friend? So I'm feeling gassed. But this is a side note. This was when me and Armando had like, we were a couple months into talking, but he had stopped talking to me. Like, he just ghosted me because of like a little discussion we had. This was our like first argument. So he had stopped talking to me like days prior to this. So I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm single. I'm not really tripping off of it. But put a pin in this, because I have to make another story time about what happened at this party between me and Armando, because it's its own separate thing. But I don't want to congest and confuse this story, because they are two separate events. So just put a pin in that one, because the story time will be coming for that. Ew. But anyway, so I'm just thinking like, okay, well, the boy that I was talking to does not want to talk to me anymore. So I'm just, you know, chit-chatting, mingling, having a good little time. So as the party is progressing, I see somebody who was like a mutual. Molly, actually. Molly she came to the party, and I was talking to her, and I was like, hey, like, what are you guys doing after this party? Da da da. And she was like, I'm gonna have a kickback at my house if y'all wanna come over. We are leaving at 1. I gotta be home around 1. Okay, so me, I'm thinking like, okay, it's like 10 o'clock right now. That's perfect. Like, that's enough time. Like, this party ain't gonna be like that crazy. And this is the first time I'm ever out like this anyway. So I didn't think I was gonna stay out till 6 in the morning. So I was just like, okay, cool. Let me know before you leave, because I'll just ride with you. So I already had my plan, because Molly didn't live that far from Tori anyway. So I'm like, boom, we can leave this party with Molly, and then have fun, you know, do a little kickback thing with her. And if anything, we could have Molly, either we could stay at Molly's house, or we could get dropped off by her to Tori's house. So I'm thinking ahead, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me know before you leave so I can just leave with y'all. She's like, all right, bet. So the party's going on. We're getting lit. We're having so much fun. We're doing so much. Like, we're dancing, having the time of our lives. I'm mixing and mingling. I'm meeting new people that I had never met before. Like, and these are like popular people. So I'm just like, wow, like, they're really feeling me. I'm feeling them. They're following me on Instagram. Like, I'm just having so much fun. You know, every 16, 17-year-old's life. Like, cool. So this is where things get crazy. So fast forward, the night is going on, and we're getting turned, and we're getting lit, and it starts to be around like 12:30. Molly comes up to me, and she was like, hey, I'm about to leave. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go get Tori, and then we can head out. I go to Tori, and I'm like, hey, like, are you ready to go? Like, Molly's about to leave. Like, we're going to go with her. And she, with the quickness, gets an attitude with me. And she was like, no, I'm not ready to leave. Like, don't you see we're having fun? Like, don't be boring. Like, let's stay. And that was a thing with Tori that was just so annoying. I felt like, not that there was a power imbalance just because we're like 17, like, who cares? But it was more like she would always make it a point to be like, I'm popular and you're not. So I'm going to teach you how to be popular, kind of thing. Where she would just like, I don't even know how I want to explain it. It was more so like, don't be dry. Like, we're going to stay here because that's what we're supposed to do. And like, if you leave, you're just going to be lame, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Sounds so childish. So this whole story is childish. So I'm just like, okay, but like, who cares? This is our ride home. I'm thinking about it as like, this is our ride home. After Molly leaves, like, we don't have anything going on. Like, what are we gonna do? So I was like, Molly's about to leave. Like, we need to go. And she's like, no, I'm not ready to go. Like, don't be dry. Like, I'm not going to sit here and leave. Like, don't leave. She's basically telling me she's not going to leave with Molly and she doesn't want me to leave. And so I, being me, I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want to leave you by yourself. So Molly leaves. Our one ride, our one ticket home was gone. So now I'm just like a little bit panicking, but I'm also turned. So I'm just like, oh, whatever, let's enjoy the moment. And on top of that, I was dealing with Armando and his shenanigans kind of like on the side. Like, I was like low-key peeping things and like low-key going through it with Armando. But at the same time, I was just like, whatever, because I'm turned. I'm not really paying attention to you right now. So the party goes on and now the party is dying down. People are leaving. So I'm asking Tori, I'm like, hey, what's the tea? Like, what are we supposed to do now? We don't have a ride home. She's telling me, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I got us a ride. Like, don't worry about it at all. Like, we're straight. I'm like, okay, who is it? Because that was another thing. This girl would get in the car with anybody. She would get in anybody's car. She would go to anybody's house. She did not care. Like, she was just on go. And I'm just like, ma'am, I don't know these people. I don't know these men. I don't know anything. Like, what are we doing? So she's just telling me, like, don't worry about it. I got to ride, like, whatever. So when the party starts going, like, dying down and everybody starts going to their cars, I'm still waiting. And I'm just like, hey, Tori, like, who are we waiting for? Like, what is it? Tell me why. It is this group. It's like 7 guys start walking. And she's like, oh, we're going with them. And I'm like, Tori, I don't want to go with them. Like, I don't know them. They don't know us. And that was the thing too. She would act like everybody just knew her like that and that she was just so cool with everybody. And I'm like, I've never heard you talk about them a day in your life. The group of guys starts walking towards us and they start introducing themselves to me. And it was just like really uncomfortable. Like, they were all, I looked like a fresh piece of meat and all of them were just like, oh my God, who's this? What's your name? What's your name? Where are you from? Da 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 da. And they're just talking all this stuff. Mind you, these were older guys. They were ranging from like 18, because they had already graduated. So it was like 18 to like 24, right? So they're just like talking to us. They're like, oh, what's your name? Da 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 da. And so I'm just telling her, I'm like, Tori, I do not feel comfortable. And guess what this girl is going to blurt out and say? She was like, oh my God, do y'all believe like Samantha's saying like she doesn't feel comfortable? Like, y'all are making her uncomfortable. And that like, y'all know how that feels. Like, why did you tell these people that I felt uncomfortable? Like, why did you say that? And so of course they're like joking about it, and so they're like ragging on me a little bit. They're like, oh, we make you uncomfortable? What, you think we're gonna kidnap you? You think that we're gonna kidnap you? We ain't gotta kidnap you. Like, you're fine, watch out, like, stop being like that, blah blah blah. So now I'm like uncomfortable and embarrassed because like you did not have to say that to them. So she was like, don't worry about it, they're gonna take us home. So fast forward, I'm just like annoyed, I'm upset with Tori, and I'm just like, why did you even do that? But at this point I don't have a choice but to go with her plans because my plans are gone. Like, I don't have any other things, like I have no means to get back home. So it's just like, we're just gonna vibe. So she's just like, they're gonna take us home, like, don't worry about it. So like time is passing by, and these guys are, you know, just outside, they're talking, they're doing this. And like, now my social meter is over. I'm tired. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go home. I'm not in the mood. So I'm just sitting here and I'm just waiting to leave. And so we're finally getting into the car. So cool. Finally get into the car. I'm excited. We're gonna go home, right? Like I told y'all, this party was in the middle of nowhere. So I don't have a reference as to like, oh, this way is the right way to the house. This way is the right way. No, we get into this car and they just start driving. Now, I was so nervous the whole time because these guys, you know, like for whatever reason, guys feel like it's funny or cute or acceptable to drive like maniacs. And so when we're in this car, I'm like fighting for my life because I am so scared because of how they're driving. We are on a 2-lane road and there are no lights. We live in Tennessee, so you already know there's deer. Everything is just like, it's early in the morning, late at night. These people are driving like madmen, and I have no idea what direction they're going, right? So I'm just assuming we're going back into the city so we can go to the house. Why did we end up at this random, like, mobile home kind of trailer house in the middle of nowhere? So I'm like, we just left one in the middle of nowhere house, and now we're going to a trailer in the middle of nowhere. And it's not even like a trailer park. Like, it's not like there's this is a trailer in the middle of nowhere. No lights, no nothing. So of course, I'm freaking out. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this? I don't understand what we got going on. Like, what are we doing? So I'm freaking out in the backseat, and I'm just like, Tori, like, what is this? Like, where are we? And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. We're just stopping right here before they take us home. So I'm like, I don't want to be here. And she's like, Samantha, like, it's fine. Like, we're fine. She's like, why do you always think like I'm putting you, like, well, I'm not going to get you kidnapped. I'm not going to get you like in trouble. Like, relax. Like, we're just having fun. And that would bother me so much because she would always make it seem as if I have no reason to be concerned. Like, we're not taking a trip to Target and I'm just like, you know, paranoid that somebody's gonna come snatch us. Girl, we are in the middle of nowhere with a group of guys who are driving like maniacs. I don't know them. You don't even know them like that, even though you say that you do. But you don't even know them like that. And now we're at this random trailer home, mobile home thing in the middle of nowhere. And you think that I have absolutely no reason to be concerned. Okay. So we get out, well, they get out the car, and then she's like, come on, let's go. So then we get out the car and we go into this house thing. So when we get into this house, there is more people in here, and it's like basically a trap house. So they have like one couch and like foldable tables and just like the foldable chairs. People are shooting dice like on the couch, and then it looked like somebody's house. Like, it looked like somebody lived there, obviously, but it was being occupied by all these young people. And so like people were shooting dice, the counters were like full of bottles, and there was just more people coming into the rooms, out of the rooms, in from the backyard, into the backyard. Like, it was just a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, whatever. Like, at least this is not like, at least it's like a kickback after party kind of thing. It's not just they took us to this random house where it's just us and they're staring at us. You know what I mean? It's not like giving creepy. So I'm just sitting down. I sat down on the couch, and so she's talking to this one guy. Now, at this point, I had figured out that like this was her little boo for the night. I don't really know. We are going to call him Andrew. So her and Andrew are just hitting it off, and she keeps like sneaking off with him. So it would be like we would be sitting next to each other on the couch, and then she'll be like, I'll be right back, and then she would go outside. It wasn't to be like nasty, because she wouldn't be gone for like a long period of time. It would just be like, you know, them trying to be like caked up or whatever, and then she would come back and sit down, and then she would get up and leave again. And so I'm just like annoyed because, girl, at least, you know, the buddy system, don't leave me here with all these people that I don't know. Now, at this point, there was one certain guy who had taken a liking to me a lot. And I think a lot of people take my niceness as flirtation. Like, a lot of people say that I'm a flirt, but I don't take it as being a flirt. I just take it as I'm just nice. And if you talk to me, I'll talk to you back. Like, I'm not a rude person. And so I think a lot of times guys really confuse that as me like finding interest in him and them. So this guy took a little liking to me. So he sits next to me on the couch, and so he starts talking to me. So me being me, I'm just going to talk to you back, because it's not like I have anybody else to talk to, and I'm not going to just sit here and just be like sad about my life, you know? So he starts sitting next to me, and he starts talking to me, and he's just like trying to get to know me. He's asking me where I've been, where I'm from, what school I go to, yada, 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 why he hasn't seen me anywhere, blah, 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 blah. He's doing all this, right? So I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then as we're talking, the game of dice and dominoes and all the stuff that they were playing on the couch and like on the chairs across from us was getting very intense. Like, people are jumping up and down, people are going crazy, people are yelling at each other. And so like, I'm bouncing with this couch, I'm like we're trying to talk, and so there's commotion going on. So he's just like, oh, like, let's just move out of this way because like they're getting crazy. So I didn't think anything of it. I'm just like, yeah, like And so he like grabs my hand to like, you know, try to be like gentleman like, and he's like, here, you come follow me type of deal. So I stand up and I just go to move towards like the table. And so he's like, no, just come this way. And so it wasn't like a hallway, because like this is like a mobile home, you know, it's not that big. So it's not like a hallway kind of thing, but there was like a little division where there was a room. And so he like guides me over to the room. And like, I'm telling you, it wasn't, because I feel like people are gonna be like, why did you go into the room with him? It wasn't like that. It was because it was such a small space that you really could, like, one step over, you were in the room, if that makes sense. Think what you will, I don't care. So we are in this room kind of space thing, like in the doorway. And this man takes his like little window of opportunity that we're like kind of alone, and he goes in to kiss me. Y'all, like, this man put his unknown stranger lips in my face, and like, we connected. Like, I got so uncomfortable. I was just like, whoa, like, he did that. And I just like, yeah, got a blast. I was so uncomfortable. I'd like, and you know when stuff like that happens to you, where it was just like, y'all, he Tristan Thompson to me. If that story of Jordan, what she said was true, like he just randomly did that, like that's what he did to me. And I'm just like, why would you do such a thing? Like, I don't even know you. And like, me personally, I take kissing like very personal. Like, I'm just not out here kissing people. And just for you to violate me that way was so uncomfortable. Like, ugh, gross. So he did that, and I was just in shock. Like, I just could not believe that just happened. And so I'm just like, and so I just walk away instantly. I leave the room and I just walk away, and I walk outside of the door. And that's where I found Tori and her little boo. And I was just like, girl, I'm ready to go. I am not ready to be here. Like, that boy just kissed me. Like, he kissed my mouth. Ew. And I'm just telling her, like, ew, like, oh my God, like, oh my God, why did this happen? Like, you see what I'm saying? This is exactly why I didn't want to be here. Like, I'm just so uncomfortable. I want to leave. And I'm like, yo, I'm ready to go. Let's leave. So she's getting mad at me. She was just like, well, first of all, she started laughing. She thought that was funny. And that should have been a red flag, like, right. There was a lot of red flags, but she thought it was funny. So I'm just like, there's nothing funny about this. Like, I'm honestly, like, I'm getting so mad. I'm getting so upset. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. And she was like, okay, no problem. Like, we can leave. And so she tells her boo, she was like, all right, we're ready to go. Like, go get your stuff, and like, we're ready to leave. So I feel relieved. I'm like, finally, like, we can just go to like my house, or like at this point, like, I don't even care. I was sneaking to the windows. I do something, because, you know, I was not supposed to be out here doing this stuff. I was bad. So I'm just like, I'm gonna have to sneak into the window. I'm gonna have to do something. I don't care what I gotta do, but I'll get back into my house. Like, I just want to feel like safe. So when her boo goes back inside, she's telling me like, yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna stay the night at her boo's house. And I'm like, at this point, I'm getting angry with her. I'm like, I'm not going to spend the night with your boo at his house. I don't know this man. I don't want to do that. And I already just told you, I experienced something very uncomfortable. Like, this man kissed my mouth, and I don't know him like that. This was so weird. Like, I don't understand why you keep putting me in these weird situations, and I'm definitely not gonna spend the night at your man's house. Like, you're joking. This is not gonna happen. So I go into survival mode, and guess who I called? Yes, I called my sister, because I was like, there is no way I'm doing this. So I called my sister, and I'm like, yo, can you pick me up? Like, to be honest, I have no idea where I'm at. I'm in the middle of nowhere. This boy just violated my mouth, and that was so disgusting. I'm so sick of it. I'm so annoyed with Tori. Like, I don't even think I want to be friends with her after this. I'm done. Like, I need you to come pick me up. And unfortunately for me, she could not come pick me up. So I'm just like panicking, and I'm just like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, I need somebody to come get me because I just can't do this. Like, I'm gonna have a panic attack or something.
I'm having a fucking panic attack right now. I need to calm the fuck down because I'm having a panic attack right now.
But like, somebody needs to get me out of this situation, okay? And like, at this time, like, hello, I'm like 17. I'm scared out of my mind. I'm just trying to process everything. I feel betrayed by my friend because I'm just like, why do you put us in these situations? This is not what you said we were gonna do, okay? So I'm just going crazy. And so finally my sister messages me and she was like, hey, I'm gonna have my boyfriend come pick you up. So I'm just like, thank God. So at this point, it's like, no lie, probably like 5 in the morning. We are just sitting here, like, I'm arguing with Tori. She's like mad at me because I'm not gonna come spend the night with her. At this point, I was over it. I'm like, you can figure out whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to spend the night at your boo's house, you want to stay the night at this like house. If you want, I don't really care what it is that you want to do, but I'm dipping, I'm leaving. So finally, my sister's boyfriend comes to pick me up. It's like 5 in the morning, and I'm just in distress. And he offers me to stay at his house because it was like his mom's house or whatever, and they had like a downstairs basement thing. And I just couldn't go back home because like it was 5 in the morning. Like, what am I gonna say about that? Like, it was done. Like, my dad wakes up really early. I would have been caught, and that would have been the end of my life here as we know it. So I was just like, oh my God. So he offers like me to stay over there. So all in all, at the end of the night, because, and I feel so bad because I'm not joking, him and my sister had just started talking. They were not even like boyfriend and girlfriend official yet. They were just talking. God bless Edwin. Anyway, so he comes to pick me up and he takes me to his house, and I end up sleeping in his spare bedroom. And I got saved by him because Tori decided that we were just gonna be out and about, going all over the place, crazy, and then abandon me for her boo. And this is not the first or the last time that she had done that. I'm telling you, these people are not your friends. Stop being friends with people because they are not your friends. She had put me, I'm not joking, there are so many compromising positions because we haven't even scratched the surface of when she almost had me get beat up because she was dealing with somebody else's man, and they thought I was dealing with her man. I'm telling you, this is just the start to like a lot of stories, but yeah. Whew. Anywho, that is the story about how Tori had another elaborate idea to go to a party, and we never. And then for some reason too, I'm telling y'all, for some reason, her mom always thought it was me. And I'm like, I know you be lying to your mom about me because it's you. It's literally you. You're always the one that has all these ideas, and then I'm the one trying to be safe and not do all these things, and then you get mad at me for it. Just a hot mess. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoy this story. I don't really know what I'm going to title this. I don't really know if this is even like a good one. I just wanted to start this off with y'all because I have plenty of other stories to get into, but this was just kind of like the start of the end with me and Tori. So anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I guess I'll bring it up in the next video. So anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.